Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice. We're back again. I'm not going to do the whole intro every time.
That's fair.
Because we're going to do, 7 of these.
Yes.
And that's a lot.
Welcome to our Red Day.
Our red wedding,
Our red wedding.
Sad.
I've got a quote.
You've got a quote now?
Yeah, I've got, a real cheery quote.
Yeah.
Everybody is a book of blood. Wherever we're opened, we're red.
That's by Clive Barker from Books of Blood.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh, no.
It's a good time. I originally was going to try to find more optimistic fun quotes for Rainbow Week, because I thought it would be fun, but red is a good horror day, so I slid one in there. It just happens to be the first one.
You just wanted to talk about blood.
I wanted to talk about Books of Blood. That's one of my all-time favorite quotes, I think.
Well, it's fun because, so we're talking about red.
Yes.
Right now. And as blood happens to be red, on the pride flag, red is for life.
Yes.
Which is closely associated with blood, for those who don't know. I don't know if you know this, we need blood to live.
We do, in fact.
That's why it's called lifeblood.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Things are red.
Yes.
Should
we start? I have it written out as media and then symbolism, but should we do symbolism and then media?
Yeah, that makes sense. So, life. Life is red.
Yeah. Life can often be represented as red because of blood, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very symbolic of passion and or desire. That's one of the big things that it gets used for. It's if you are doing any kind of, if you want to make something look alluring, that's one of the things, because you color code flowers is a big thing.
Yeah.
That's why we see in the romance genre why there are so many red roses.
Right, because that's the ultimate romantic flower gesture is the red rose.
And that's why it's red and not... this is a fun thing, because pink roses are traditionally used for love in the sense of affection, as opposed to love of a... of a secular kind, was what the website said.
Sexy.
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 It was what it meant.
It meant you want to get down for brass taxes.
Forgotten about that.
Oh, Kat, how could you ever forget?
That's so good. That's what really is sexy. It's Gerard Way. Sex on legs. On the downside of that, the less positive connotation for that is red is often associated with anger or rage. Red actually, too much red can cause aggression. Right,
it's one of those psychological things where it's why you see in a lot of horror movies or a lot of thrillers and stuff like that, or even in action movies, when a scene is entirely in red, it causes tension. Yeah. Because your brain just automatically sees... The Western brain sees it and immediately connects it with anger and tension, and so it's one of those things that filmmakers, or I see it a lot in plays, because it's when... We're going to talk about this when we get to Sweeney Todd.
Right.
But because... when someone, snaps, the entire stage just goes red.
And that's where we get a lot of terminology. In video games, there's red rage. And then there's also the expression, seeing red.
Right.
Or in the case of Sublime, saw red.
Oh.
A nice Sublime song.
Nice.
One more secret lover that I shot dead. Because I saw red. Oh, I saw red.
Nice.
I'm just gonna talk about Sublime. You should stop me.
I am going to stop you because we're moving on.
Okay, good.
So, in other cultures, red means slightly different things.
In Eastern culture, it is seen as a color of good luck. China and India specifically see red as a sign of purity, which is why in traditional Chinese weddings and still current Indian weddings, we see red being used. The bride.
You also see it in a lot of Bollywood.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of, like, that, so, which is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's good. And then you also have something about a chakra here.
I do, because there are 7 chakras, each one is represented by a color of the rainbow. It's something I'm going to be talking about throughout the week. The Muladhara chakra is the root chakra, or the first chakra. It's represented by red, and it means a connection to the physical realm.
Nice.
Because red represents blood. Life.
Blood.
It connects us to this world.
Blood. Where's the My Chemical Romance song? That's what we're having in the background of this entire episode.
Nice. Gerard Way keeps coming up.
Sometimes he's here. Right here. Gerard Way, our guest.
Hi.
He's scared. He doesn't want to talk. But
It's
he's
still
here.
Me.
No, God, it's you.
I've been Gerard Way this whole time.
God damn it, we could have
That's why
had
I'm
money
singing
this
so
whole
many
time.
Sublime songs. You know Gerard Way from
There
Sublime.
are so many fucking layers here.
My last symbolism point. Red is also used to represent fire.
Yes.
In more abstract symbolism, orange is traditionally used to represent fire when a lot of colors are being used, but when you associate the 4 elements to the primary colors, red very frequently gets used, more often than orange, even though technically that's incorrect. But that's how it goes.
Who cares? It looks good.
It looks real good. Do you have your red thing up?
Say what?
Are you good to go?
I'm good.
Okay. I talked about fire because it looked like you were looking for something.
Oh, I was just scrolling through TV tropes because I got it all.
Oh, okay.
So, should we move on to media
Yes.
and such?
We usually see red associated with bravery or boldness. Team Valor is the red one.
You'll see
Gryffindor.
the first, Gryffindor, the first Pokemon protagonist. So for anyone that follows Pokemon, a lot of the, for up until X and Y, was pretty much associated with, I guess Diamond and Pearl are sort of the ones that really go off of it, but they were all associated with a color.
Mm-hmm.
And red is the default name given to your protagonist, and is the protagonist of the original Pokemon manga.
Nice.
Also. So, red is generally associated with the hero. Like, you'll see, like the Red Ranger in Power Rangers is, like the leader. Red is often associated as, because it's a power color, it's associated with, like, the leader of the group.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So...
this isn't on my talking list.
Yeah.
Do you remember Pulse 2?
Oh, God.
Because there's a thing in the Pulse movies.
Whoa. Whoa. I'm having fucking whiplash.
This whole week was just to trick you into talking about Pulse 2 on the
I don't even remember Pulse 2 except for the last scene. Because it was bad.
Because red, the thing is that red can disrupt electrical currents.
That's right.
So it's like a protective color.
The red tape everywhere,
Yeah.
and the guy that was covered in red
I don't know
tape.
why when you said the hero is often associated with red, I immediately thought of that guy. He was dressed like one of the Spanish Inquisition guys from Monty Python, and he ran around with a thing of, like, red duct tape. It was
amazing.
Great. Pulse 2 is a good example of how a franchise can very quickly decline all at once in quality.
Just the end. It was just the entirety of the second movie. It was just bad.
But there's the hero of the movie who never came back is a good example.
Nice.
Red. Yes. So here's an interesting thing. I'm gonna talk about the Red Wedding.
Holy shit, you're talking about Game of Thrones? Again?
Those big spoiler, perhaps biggest spoiler of the show. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna talk about who died. Let's just say the Red
Everybody
Wedding
died.
is called that in the that actually, unlike the purple wedding, the red wedding is actually referred to as the red wedding inside the show.
Right.
Which is an interesting thing, because usually the fans name the weddings, but that was an actual canonical term for that.
That's fair.
But everybody dies.
Yeah, everyone
so
dies.
we
It's
got
bad.
the red wedding for all the blood. It was probably one of the most...
Those are one of the worst scenes, I think.
Worst scenes. Most talked about
it's
scenes
infamous.
from a show. It's good. Really good. It's a good show, guys. But that's that's like a very negative example of red being used.
Right.
Of blood being associated in a negative context, whereas blood being associated with a good context in a bad a bad environment is Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
In Gilead, the outfits that the women wear are color-coded, and handmaids wear red to represent menstruation and the ability to
give life.
Yeah.
They also have the Red Center, which is like a place for handmaids. But there's also blood there, too. That's not
There's less
blood.
Good blood. Yeah, they call it the handmaids call it the Red Center. It's actually the Rachel and Leah Center after the Bible thing. But yeah, they call it red because before they knew like what handmaids were, they just knew that everyone was wearing red.
Right.
At the center.
Oh no.
All their stuff is red and everything's very color coded in Gilead.
One of the things I always remember is, like, I don't have a specific example of this, because, like, I feel like, well, because I forget everything. That's how I am as a person. But, like, there's a lot of stuff that will use, like, black and white, and then red will be the accent color. So it's, like...
Never-Ending Nightmares is a good example
of this. That's what I was trying to remember. I was like, are the specific things.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there's like, blood is prevalent in Never-Ending Nightmares. It happens frequently. Yeah. But that's the only color that there is. The entire thing is just black and white.
Yeah.
Otherwise. So it's interesting, because it's a very bold color and we immediately associate it with blood, generally, it makes for a very good, like, accent.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to use one color, usually it's going to be red. Let's talk about Sweeney Todd.
Okay.
Sweeney Todd is here.
Yes. Sweeney Todd we brought up because, again, it's one of the... And we've talked about this before. The red is very symbolic. And it, on a very literal thing, does in fact represent blood. But it's also done in a way where the red is more colorful than anything else that we get to see in both the play and the movie. Because it is... And this is a good example of how red represents passion.
Right.
Also.
Because that's his whole thing is he only feels when he's killing people.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
And it's something that we get to see, even before we really get to see how much color the blood brings into his life. It's something that is alluded to earlier on, because when he's singing to the straight razors, there's the "You'll soon drip rubies."
Right.
You'll soon drip precious rubies. And that really is the color that we get to see when the blood finally starts coming up. It's
ruby red.
Right.
It's also one of those things, like, because in the play, also, like, the costume designers take a lot of care to not, like, the costume designers and the set designers all work together to make everything else much less bold.
Yes.
So that when the red scarves finally come out, it's a very dramatic change.
Right.
It's nice.
It's good. It's a really good example of how you can creatively use color to accent certain things.
I like it.
It's good. I'm also going to talk about the book thief, which the narrator uses colors to remember specific events. And red comes up because when the sky is red, it's an allusion to the war that takes place during the book. And in the introduction, he talks about how the three colors that he remembers to bookmark the story that he's telling are red, white, and black. And that actually, we get to see, there's actually a really cool thing in there, because he's like drawn out the shapes that he remembers the color in, and it makes the Nazi flag.
Oh, yeah.
So they also tie it in that way. But then he goes into the meaning of the colors beyond these flags that are seen throughout because it's a World War II book.
Right, of course. Who would have guessed? Cat in a World War II book.
It's crazy.
I think one of the things I remember being like really read is in Billy Elliot, the musical. He has this one scene where, for those of you who don't know the story of Billy Elliot, it's based on a true story, and it's about a boy from a coal mining town who he wants to become a dancer. Mm-hmm. He realizes he has a passion for dancing, and so he's growing up with his father and his brother, and they aren't about it because that's not a traditionally masculine thing to do.
Right.
And so he has this scene where, like, after they find out, and they're like, you can't dance anymore. And as well, there's police, there's sort of like a riot going on in the town. But so he has this tap dance number, and, like, a lot of it is, the stage is just all red, because he's dancing out his frustrations about it. And that's a scene that always really sticks with me, is, like, because it's very well done.
Yeah.
And I love Billy Elliot so much. Those kids are so talented. Like, I remember I went to see it, and they have, like, 3 different kids who play him, because the dance numbers are so intense.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome.
Nice.
Try to find a recording of it somewhere. It's probably on YouTube.
Good.
But yeah. So that's one of my things that I always remember.
That's a good thing. That's fun.
Yeah.
Nice. It's also, red is something that we see a lot, and this, again, ties into, because we've been talking a lot about the Western symbolism and how we associate with the color red. In Japanese urban legends, red is a color that we see a lot in a very different context, because it ties in to the whole purity thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Japanese urban legends focus on children. So it's something that we also see over there a lot in their horror genre for an entirely different reason.
Right, it's the equivalent of Western white.
Yes. The one big exception that I have found for this is in the urban legend Red Paper, Blue Paper, where red does symbolize blood, because the color of paper that you choose determines how you will die.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Gotta love those Japanese urban legends.
Do you remember that game that kids used to play in middle school, where it's like, you would tell the person to close their eyes, and then they picture themselves standing on the edge of a building, and then you push them, and then depending on what color you saw, it was how you were gonna die?
Yeah.
God!
That's a Japanese urban legend for you.
Oh, no!
No.
It was fucked up. Kids are interested in fucked up stuff, dude.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's good. I think one of my
Close your eyes.
I'm not standing up.
Imagine you're on the edge of a cliff. I push Alan out of his
chair. No! I can actually fall off something here. One of my other big associations with red in media is magic, as it turns out, because magic is one of the 5 colors in it, and it's, if I remember correctly, Ben's gonna come in here while listening to this if I don't get it right.
Okay. Get it right.
It's representative of driven by your emotions, is like the motivation for what makes something red. So it's like, the other ones have certain things that it's like, because the whole thing is the color that the card is based on either the action that's going on or the character that's represented on it. So, like, any red card, when you see it, it's, like, associated with someone who's gonna leap into something based on how it makes them feel emotionally. So, that's one of the things I always remember, also.
Nice.
There's some good red cards. I have some right here.
Okay. Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll die if I pull out magic cards.
It's true. I'm deathly allergic to magic cards.
It's real hard having her in the house sometimes.
So yeah, I think that's all my stuff.
I think that's all my stuff, too.
Alright. This has been Red.
It's been Red. Rad.
Hmm.
Okay, bye.